Greetings, Fayetteville residents. This is Joshua Hughes, meteorologist for WFFC, winning Fayetteville for Christ. In the recent aftermath of many storms like Hurricane Matthew that devastated the southeastern coast, we decided to take a trip back in time to look at other infamous storms and how they occur and how to prepare for them. Today we will be looking at Hurricane Katrina. First, we have to take a look at how storms form. Most storms form with frontal boundaries. These are the catalysts for storms. Frontal boundaries are the separations between two air masses, and they're based on the temperature differences. And they're either cold or warm. So if a warm hits a cold mass or a cold hits a warm mass, or various different effects, it will change the type of weather that's going on in that area. However, the only exception to that is cyclones. Now, cyclones or cyclonic air systems are formed when the jet stream will bring cold air from the north down to the south where there's warm air. This then creates a convection cycle where the air will stir, eventually causing a cyclone, creating either a hurricane or tornado or whatever it is called in that area. On August 24th, 2005, a tropical depression eventually formed into Hurricane Katrina. Now, this depression was caused by the interaction of tropical waves with a recent, also already faded tropical storm. This interaction caused that depression, which is a smaller form of a tropical storm, which over time transformed into Hurricane Katrina. On screen, we see a satellite image comprised of multiple positions that Hurricane Katrina was at during its lifespan. Hurricane Katrina started near the top of Cuba and worked its way up the Gulf and into the U.S. As it went on, Katrina gained intensity over the sea, giving it its longevity and destructive power by the time it reached land. Now, the reason that hurricanes are so powerful in the water is because of this warm ocean water. This warm ocean water gives energy to the hurricane while it is in the water. This energy causes it to get more powerful and will live longer once it reaches land. Now, most hurricanes, except for Hurricane Katrina, didn't have that much time in the water before it did reach land. But the exception, like I said, is Hurricane Katrina. When it did reach land, it had so much power from being in the ocean that it didn't stop until it had almost reached the top of the U.S. This is why this storm was so destructive. Now, as we can all see, storms affect us all greatly, just from little rain affecting our drive to work, to huge storms like Hurricane Matthew and Hurricane Katrina. Now, the majority of you watching this didn't actually get affected from this much, aside from maybe a few days of power outage, some water loss. However, a lot of people were affected by this. People in Florida, people up the coast, even near the edge of North Carolina. These people's houses were destroyed, families dead, and so much more, lives ruined. But even then, we could still be affected too. We're not near the coast, but that could still hurt us, which is why we need to always be prepared for the worst. Whenever I'm with my father, he always teaches me how to be prepared for these things. So I'm going to show you a few different tips that he taught me over my years. Before the storm, you want to keep enough non-perishable food to last you for about a week. That would be the ideal scenario. And you want to have enough food for your entire family, including pets. Water is another issue to take hold of. Water, you have to keep enough for drinking, for sanitation, for bathing, and other such uses. Now, for the drinking rule is most commonly measured as 8 glasses a day, but that's not at all accurate. However, in a survival scenario, it's always better to overestimate than underestimate. Another thing that you might find water in is your water heater. Water heaters can hold up to 60 gallons of water if you have one of the tank kinds and not the electric. The last thing that you might want to have is a radio. Even a crank one will suffice. This way you can listen into the outside world and see what's going on during the storm and after. During the storm, you should stay indoors, and if the wind and rain and hail is powerful enough, go into a room without any windows to minimize the risk of being hit by any outside weather. After the storm, you may want to listen to your radio and see how the community is going on. If there's unrest, if there's riots and looting. If there is, be prepared to hunker down until the basic utilities return, such as power, water, and heating. This is Joshua Hughes, meteorologist for WFFC. Stay safe.